Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Please continue to pray for me, especially in regard to making good connections. Pray for me by leaving a dislike on this video. Pray to the God of dislikes. So I'm in a little bit of a jam. And the theme, it's been the theme of this year. I have a dream job at the moment, at least a job that isn't toxic, right? And so, having worked and quit so many jobs in my lifetime, that is not something that I can take for granted. Let's put it that way. But unfortunately, I have a dream job, but I don't have dream circumstances. And that's what's making life tricky this year. What do I mean by dream circumstances? Well, I in the 2.5 years since moving here, I've only gone on one date, if you can believe it, and it was not even a very serious date. And I right now I'm teaching at a community college. It's in a part of town that is not very conducive to the kind of people that I want to live with, and not to say anything about the people who are here, but Google this. I live in Apache Junction. Google the median age in Apache Junction. That's all I need to say, right? And at the same time, I really love my work here. And I've been relying very heavily. I talked about this in the last video. I've been relying very heavily on drugs to get through my days. I've been using very large doses of lithium orotate. And until a few nights ago, I was using Sudafed regularly to get through the day. But something happened as I was talking to my boss today. You see, I've been doing pretty good financially. I've been putting money away in my Roth IRA. I have a pretty healthy bank account balance. I think part of the reason that I've been doing so well financially is I keep putting off replacing the car. Why am I putting off replacing the car? Because I don't have anybody to pick up on a date. So there's no motivation. I was going to buy a new car, or at least new to me, at the end of this year, but right now it doesn't look like I have any signs of doing that. I'm too bogged down with all the other crap that's going on in my life to even think about that now. And as a result, and also, you know what? The Fed's raising the interest rates kind of help too, because I don't want to give up the opportunity cost of all the interest I'm earning. I have a high yield savings account with Discover. I get about 4.8% interest or something like that. It's really beautiful to see every month when the interest gets deposited in there, even if it doesn't keep up with inflation, right? Especially when bismuth prices are falling, it feels like not only am I making interest, but the cost of real money is also falling. And also, of course, I've accumulated 3.5 tons of bismuth. I hope to eventually, when I have 10 tons of bismuth, to move out of the Phoenix area, use the proceeds of that as a down payment on a house somewhere else, right? Especially Wallace, Idaho. I really miss the Rocky Mountain environment. And but at the same time, as much as I cuss not having connections here, the few that I have, I also hate to give up, right? So I got a friend that I met at church. He's gonna put me on a blind date, right? There's no guarantee that that's situations like that are gonna come up at the next place that I move to, right? Earlier today, as I was talking to my boss, and I realized that I had a good financial situation, it made it so much easier to negotiate. I teach at a community college. They have multiple campuses throughout the greater Phoenix area. And I was hoping to go to this other campus. I'm in Apache Junction right now. There's another one in Coolidge, which is the demographics there I like better, first of all. And also the campus is much better built. We have a campus, I'm in the library right now, but we got a campus about 2 miles away. And it's very run down, an old building, halfway through the semester this fall, I actually had to change classrooms because the projectors were constantly malfunctioning. AC wasn't working correctly, among other things. And part of the reason that I decided to live in Apache Junction is that I'm not a very good morning person. I have a class at 10 o'clock, and I always worry I'm going to oversleep. If I have to wake up at 8 o'clock, I'm not going to sleep because I'll look at the clock, it's 1 o'clock. Oh my God, I'm going to oversleep. Oh my God, it's 2, I'm going to oversleep. It's 3, it's 4, it's 5. And before I know it, I have to drive to work, right? And I had a couple nights of that, and I decided that's it. I got to move to Apache Junction. I'm going to lose my job if I don't. And that's when I ended up here. And unfortunately, the demographics here are not very good, which is what I meant when I said I have a dream job with nightmare circumstances. Right? What would you do? Let me leave this as a question to my YouTube audience. What would you do if you had a dream job in nightmare circumstances? Um, and Would you rather have a dream job with nightmare circumstances or the other way around? How about that? I'll leave that as a question to my YouTube audience. I wish the world wasn't so big, right? Imagine some one day in the far distant future when technology is so great that you could live halfway around the world from your job and no big deal, right? You could jump in your spaceship and go to work. You'll be there in 2 minutes and it won't cost you all that much, right? It'd be similar to driving to what driving 2 minutes looks like today, right? In that world, I don't think I would have much to complain about, right? I'd certainly keep my job at the college. The fact that there's, that our offices are so run down wouldn't be a big deal anymore, right? The fact that I can't make friends here, that wouldn't be a big deal anymore, right? In fact, sometimes I hesitate about making connections with people from other parts of the world. Oh, that's not a big deal anymore, right? They're driving distance now, right? Unfortunately, here in the United States, we seem to have gone the opposite direction of that world, right? Everybody insists on having their own car, and so unfortunately, it makes Phoenix and other parts of the United States a lot bigger than they need to be, right? Um, anyway, but as I was talking to my boss today, it hit me how free I was to negotiate. I complained about, this is the commutes are a little bit tricky. I got another commitment in Glendale. I don't, and he works at the other office. And I told my boss, I don't know if you've been here lately, but first of all, the classrooms are difficult to use. I don't think the students are getting a good experience out of it. And second, I want to tell you part of the reason that one of my colleagues even complained to you the other day about the office was that there's not even a kitchenette for me to wash up after I'm eating, and it's gross. I had to go to the bathroom to wash, and I felt comfortable talking about this to my boss. Are they at least working on this building? And part of the reason I felt comfortable doing that was because of my big nest egg, right? And that's one thing I'm really proud of that I did this year, right? Now that I have that nest, and plus I'm not even so worried. I like I said, I have a dream job, but I don't like the circumstances anyway. I might as well negotiate for the entire kitchen sink when I'm at the dream job, right? Because I it's not even the best thing in the world anymore, right? With the circumstances that it comes with, right? And plus, I'm putting a lot of money aside, and so I don't know what to do though. I've had it the other way around too, where I had good circumstances in the city that I lived in, but a not so dream job. I had it that way before too. I gotta say, I still like it this way better, but I do want to improve it, and so I want to be even financially even stronger by the end of next year, so that I can have good power to work with these things. Right? Hopefully by the end of next year, I'll actually have circumstances that I'll be thinking about moving to somewhere else. Right? One thing I did think about doing was before I moved to Wallace, Idaho, maybe regularly visit there so that I can start making the connections there. And then by the time I move there, it will just be that one final trip there, right? I thought about doing that, But unfortunately, I really don't have the good circumstances to do that either, especially if I want to keep my job here, right? So it's tricky, right? I often feel it's a conspiracy that the the fact that our jobs take up so much of our lives prevent us from improving our situation, right? I often feel that's almost like a conspiracy in its own right, right? If people have too much time, if we had as much free time as people did in Europe, then more people would probably look for better working situations, right? And so it's a conspiracy to keep us down, right? I really do feel that way sometimes. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.